Hi, everybody, and it's Movie Chats with Ant and Rye. And today we are discussing last year's Heretic, starring Hugh Grant, directed and written by Scott Beck and Brian Woods. I really liked this one. So much to dissect. Let's get into, well, our first topic of conversation will go into directing. Uh,
Mhm.
that's normally where we go. Um, I really like this. There's quite a few little bits and pieces I jotted down. I loved. I don't know if you noticed that when they're in Mr. Reed's house, they almost use a different type of lens. It gave it a bit of a fishbowl effect in some of the rooms.
Mm.
It really added to some of that kind of distortion and just that unease. It makes you a little bit because it's already the girls are already at unease, but it just adds to that extra little layer I found.
Yeah. It's the way it's done. It's made to make you feel uneasy, and it's building up as well. That's something in the directing that I notice. It's like it is getting very tense, and then it relaxes. It's a bit like
Yep.
an elastic, but I really like that
Yeah.
because it's really going crescendo. And Hugh Grant as well, because he has this very natural charm as well. It turns it
Yep.
on when it's like, oh, let's say he's reassuring somehow, and
Yeah.
then he goes into being creepy and kind of evil. It's
Yeah.
very
So because I wrote down that like it starts off and he's like he's almost playing with him. Oh, you're Barnes, you're Paxton. Oh no, oh sorry, you're Barnes, you're Paxton, and so he's playing with them. It's just a very that's a 90s Hugh Grant kind of. He's very charming and just he's got almost like a dad doing dad jokes with them, and
Yeah,
he's
exactly. And I'm so glad that they didn't try to put an American accent on him. He's got
yes,
his normal
yep,
English accent, which contribute to his charm that you're like, oh, it's just a nice guy usually. So this one is very unexpected for him to
yeah,
take such a role, but
yeah,
it's so good.
yeah. So as there's uh, that first kind of that first conversation in the living room where they're talking about quite a few things, a bit of controversial diatribe. He's talking about polygamy and
Mm,
about that kind of stuff. I loved how the camera just focuses really closely. There's like a lot of up close angles.
yeah,
The camera almost pans around them at a few times. Those things I just loved. I thought it was just so subtle and so minute, but it really added that extra bit of layer towards this is just this is not a nice conversation. This is where is this going? And that and yeah, just added to that uneasiness. Yeah, did it really well.
yeah, that, I agree. I agree.
All right, let's go into the cast. We've got
Hmm.
Sophie Thatcher, who's playing Sister Barnes. We've got Chloe East playing Sister Paxton, and of course Hugh Grant playing Mr. Reed.
Yes.
Um, who was your favorite out of the? Well, aside, we'll go. Hugh Grant is a given.
Okay,
Hugh
yeah,
Grant did a great
it's
job.
I think it's very hard to dismiss Hugh Grant that, as I was saying, really knows how to turn on the charm, but also come off as creepy when he needs to, and in the end, just being very evil. Um, so yeah, like it, and it's not something that you're used to see him into, and he really shines as an actor and doing something different on this one. Um, I think Sophie Thatcher actually, I found her very impressive. I want her to see her in more movies. I've seen her in Yellow Jackets. I thought she was very good. And I've seen her in this horror movie that was a bit middle of the road called The Boogeyman.
Okay,
And I thought she was very good in this movie. And she released another one that I haven't seen yet, but I really want to see called Companion.
okay.
That looks very, very good as well. So I want to see more of her. And I discovered through this movie that she's also a singer.
Yeah,
And
apparently I didn't listen to it all the way through, but she did the song at the end through the
it
end
doesn't
credits, I
sound,
think.
yeah, which is very funny because she's singing Knocking on Heaven's Door,
Yep.
right? Which is not her song. But I think the the take of this song that is the most known must be by the Guns N' Roses,
Yep.
but this is also not their song. The original
Would
song, I think, is by Bob Dylan,
uh, would you say
which
it's in
comes back to like the conversation that he has before about
yep, iterations?
whoever like did the iterations and whoever
Yep.
did the first like Creep by Radiohead, and then Lana Del Rey did another song that is very, very similar, and they suit each other, and all these kind of things. So I thought it was a very meta sort of
Yep.
thing, and I really like that.
Um, I'm going to give it to Chloe East myself. I just thought
Mm.
her take on Paxton, she's just so that naivete at the beginning. She's very because she's been born into the church, so she's very
Yes.
world poor. But then as the movie goes on, she's actually the one that's you know she's almost doing her deducing detective work. She's doing all that kind of stuff. And then at the end, she's had that enormous growth. And there's two things that I kind of found with the butterfly. It was almost like she's a butterfly herself. She's come out of her cocoon because she's gone through this
Mm.
massive experience. But there's also the possibility that the butterfly at the end was a metaphor for something else, which we may discuss.
Yes.
Uh,
I think we need to like, one, whoever is listening, that we're gonna go into spoilers because
yep,
I will find it very, very hard to discuss it without doing it. So I was actually surprised that Sister Barnes dies. I really thought that
yes,
she was going to be the
right,
one who makes it
yeah,
to the end because, yeah, as you were saying, the other one, I mean, Chloe East is doing well, like, the more naive, churchy girl. And Sister Barnes is more of she's more aware
yep,
um, of, like, I
yeah.
guess, the world, and she
She's
has been into different
yeah,
churches and,
she's more mature, she's more confident.
yeah.
She's converted 8 people. She says at the beginning, so
Yeah,
she's been around for a bit. And then obviously her life experience, which is obviously near death experience. She's got the implant in her arm. So she's been around.
yeah,
But yeah,
exactly. So yeah, that was surprising, and that was actually a good twist. That I was like, okay, are we really left with this one, like, to
yeah,
carry us to the end of the movie, or what's gonna happen? But she really grows and she shines through. Um, Afterward, and I was like, okay, that keeps me going. I'm not
yeah,
disappointed that she's the one who
yeah,
continues after that happens to Sister Barnes.
yeah. Because yeah, obviously she's worked out that you know I saw your hair was wet, so you've obviously you've
Yeah.
I knew then something was going on. So it's like, oh, cool. And then you go back and you look at it and go, wait, it was, wasn't it? And so obviously he was doing stuff, but you can actually see it as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you go back, you can see it. I mean, I guess that because the keys didn't return the key in the right jacket pocket or in the right jacket. So because
But was
I was watching it with my wife, and when the missionary is looking for them, and he's asking Mr. Reed, "Have you seen them?" We were like, well, on the bikes, like at the gate, just in front of the house. Can't you see that? And then this is where for me it clicks. And I was like, well, that's why the key was not in the right pocket, is actually to tell the audience that he went out
he's
and he took out the bikes.
yeah. Um, let's go into the faith theology. I actually know another thing I wanted to talk about is the screenplay. I love the screenplay. I thought it was just he was able to just deliver such a long monologue at times. He's talking about the iterations of songs and games, and information that I didn't know about as well. Like Monopoly
Mm.
was based on a different game, and there's all this different songs based on different songs, and even all the religions which
Yeah,
have so
it's
many. It was actually a
uh,
very knowledgeable film.
it's a very Clever, very clever movie. I was reading on IMDb trivia that it took him 10 years to write the movie
Wow.
because of the sheer amount of research that he had to do about all these things. There was a lot of things that I knew, especially about religion. I didn't grow up in a religious household,
Yes.
but
Same.
I was always told to respect religion and get curious about religions and the different things that they taught and all these kind of things. So I knew especially about all the sort of crossovers that the
Yep.
main religion actually have, but they went a bit deeper and they said it very clearly on a subject that is still very complex. And that was very, very well done. And it was done in a very respectful way as well.
Another thing I really appreciated was, and I was fearful at one stage where there was the woman's come back from the dead, and I've made notes,
Mm.
supernatural, and then
Yeah.
obviously the I guess it wasn't. It was a gimmick. It was a magic trick, as they said,
Yes.
because he's obviously got a swarm of women playing the game as well. And
Yeah.
I love the fact that it was a human villain. It wasn't a supernatural
Yeah.
villain. It made it that that more scary. I saw on
Exactly.
I was going through Facebook the other day, and it was a four pictures of like four of the villains from the X-Files, and who was your who's your favorite villain? And I don't know if you ever watch X-Files. Did you ever watch X-Files?
Yeah.
Yeah, Donny Fasser was one of the villains, and so everyone's like Donny Fasser
Mm.
because he was a real person. He was just a man with he was just a psychopath, and so that made it more scary because it's a real
Yes.
human element. That's scarier, and
Yeah.
that's what I just loved about this, that it was a real guy. Just that,
Yeah, and I mean that's my personal preference as well. I'm not crazy about supernatural stuff or like especially when supernatural is being thrown in just to give you to explain something that can't be explained by logic.
yeah,
But here, that would have been so disappointing because this is the entire point about him. Is about the truth and is about control. So of course he's playing a trick on them because he's really testing. He's sorry, not tasting, testing their
yep,
faith, and toying with them in the process to control
yeah,
them. So if it had been something supernatural, I'd be like, oh, no, this is rubbish. But
yeah.
it was not, and it was very cleverly explained.
Yeah, and I love the fact that that was the one true religion as well, because I was obviously making notes. What's the one true religion going to be? And at one stage, I was like, he's a
Mm.
Satanist. He's going to be a Satanist. So that's going to be his one
Yeah,
true religion. But it wasn't. It was just, it was something so simple and logical. And again, that just makes it even more scary.
he's a psycho.
Yeah. Oh,
Like at the end of the day, you can justify it by all the research and the smarts in the world and the knowledge about religion and interaction and music and monopoly. He's all about controlling women and he's a sadist. Um, yeah. Something I really liked as well is that they didn't depict the Mormons as being stupid or being really sheltered from the world. The girls are actually aware of their safety. It's something that I noticed. I
yep,
mean, they go inside the house, but first they want to make sure that there is a woman that is present.
yep,
Also, I don't know if you noticed, but when he's giving them the colas for them to drink, they actually don't touch it
yeah,
because you do not drink a drink prepared by a stranger if you don't see them preparing them.
correct.
So there is like a lot of like things that are being thrown in the way that they communicate. They are not dumb. They are just being tricked very cleverly by this man, but they are not just naive. And they know
Yeah,
stuff about religion, like they challenge him.
yeah.
Um, and I read that actually both Chloe East and Sophie Thatcher grew up as Mormons. They are not
Oh, wow.
Mormons anymore. Yeah,
Okay.
and they consulted, like on the film, and they brought a lot of insights about it, which is why it's also quite respectful of how they will depict the moment. So it's not really taking a side as saying, are we pro-religion or are we anti-religion? It is striking that balance. Um, I have a few other things as well, like, with the ending, with the fact that it's Sister Barnes who dies and then Sister Paxton who survives, because Sister Barnes is the one that has the birth control implant.
Yep.
So she's the sinner when it comes to sex.
Yep.
But Sister Paxton is pure and she's the one who survives, which is very religious-y, you know.
Yep.
And then she sees the butterfly. She said that she will reincarnate as a butterfly and land on your hand, not anywhere else. Is that her friend actually resurrecting and doing that? But then in a split second, the butterfly disappears as well.
Yes. So does that mean
So,
that so there's an argument online that that's actually the butterfly actually represents Sister Paxton herself because
mm,
she wanted to land on someone's hand and then the butterfly's there, then it's not. So is that her dreaming that she's the butterfly? So did she die in the basement with
yeah,
Mr. Reed?
yeah, exactly. That's there is. I mean, it is subtle. Like you can interpret it like however you want. I like that. I don't like movies that just give you almost nothing and it's like,
Yeah.
do whatever you want, like how you want to
Yeah.
interpret it. Here it is giving you a story, it is giving you a beginning, a middle, and an end, but it's throwing these kind of little things that you can interpret in different ways. And that i like it sparks good conversation.
It does. Uh, I was also going to say while you're having a yeah, anyway, the church, apparently the Church of the Latter-day Saints actually praised the film. They actually said that yeah, they
Yeah,
while they condemn obviously violence against
against
women,
women.
they actually said that it's got a realistic portrayal of the way missionaries do work. You
Yeah,
know, they'll go around and will try and sell the church, and they do need female presence as well. So, which I actually didn't know about. So, but I'm glad that that exists.
yeah.
I'm going to give a bit of a nip. I don't know if it's a nitpick, but it's going to be another topic of conversation. The elder who goes off searching for them, which is played
Mm-hmm.
by Topher Grace. I didn't even realize that until the movie finished. It was like, oh, really, Topher Grace?
I
While I
had
was
to like
researching.
look him up. I don't know why. I thought at first it was Hayden Christensen. And I was like, no, it's not him. And I realized, it's Topher
I,
Grace.
I thought it was. I don't know if you ever watched The Office. Dwight's cousin or his friend Ralph.
Oh
Ralph,
yeah.
because it looked nothing like uh, Topher Grace. I thought because I've done a couple of YouTube videos. I've had a look at a couple of them. That it would have been better if the doorbell just rang and then there was a missionary there looking for them, and he goes, "Oh no, I haven't seen them." And he goes, "Oh, okay, no worries," and walked off. The build up to those few scenes where you see him, oh, they haven't come, they haven't checked in. He's gone looking for them. No, we haven't seen them. They were maybe a bit redundant. They probably just didn't
Mm,
need to be done because it's taken you away a few times from what Barnes and Paxton are going through. I thought it just I thought it probably would have just it would have been better if it was just one scene. There he is. Have you
mm.
seen my friends? And Mr. Reed just goes, no. And the guy goes, okay, no worries, walks off.
Yeah. I not sure I agree on this one.
Okay.
Um, First of all, one thing that I really liked about this movie is that I didn't really know where it was going.
Yeah, no, never.
And I really liked that. So it was very good twists and turns. They were worked in very well, but it was not contrived or expected or anything. And that really gripped me. And the fact that he was looking for them, and we spent a little bit of time that he would come back, that he would ask again, it gives you some hope of maybe he's going to be able to save them or something is going to happen, because you don't know where this is going to end. Is he going to let them go, or are they going to fight him, or are they both going to die, or is this guy actually going to come in there and do something to sort of unlock the situation, not necessarily save them, but unlock the situation. So yeah, spending a bit of time with him, maybe build it up towards that can be something that would happen, so you don't really know where we are going, which I liked. So it didn't bother me that much.
There you go. Is there anything else you want to bring up? I've got one more topic that well, just one thing that happened in the movie. When Paxton's escaping and she's seen his miniature, it's almost like she's in a miniature at one stage. Did you see
Yeah,
that scene? I love that. That was so good.
it's great. I like that, and it's coming to the set design. I think
Yep,
the house, the way it's constructed, this miniature, but also the wallpapers and the bolt that is in the
yep.
light switch.
Very
It
vintage.
gives this very like haunted house feeling. It's very creepy. It's
Yeah,
yeah, the production design is very good in this movie as well.
yep. Even some of the sound editing I thought was because it good use of diegetic sound when he's going down the hallway and he's going through the house. All you can hear is his footsteps, and
Mm,
just I really like that. That was just every little piece of it. You just think back and go, that just really adds to that, unease and just the tension and
yeah.
all right. I think I've exhausted all my notes. How about
Yeah,
yourself?
we talked a lot about it. No,
Yep.
that's pretty much it.
All right. Um, did Paxton die at the end? Did she? Yes or no?
Um,
I would say no. I
no,
think I'm on the level that she got out. I want to
yeah,
have a happy ending.
yeah, I think so. I would say so.
All right. All right. Time for our score.
Hmm.
I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. It was very
Cool.
good. I liked
Yeah,
it. Yep.
I would give it a 4.5 out of 5. Really liked it. I thought it was very clever, very well acted, very well directed. Yeah, almost perfection. So 4.5 out of 5.
Awesome. There you go. All right. Well, thank you for sitting and listening to our discussion. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode.
So yeah.
Bye.